It's coming Rome. It is coming home. Most definitely. What a result. What a performance. Come on. All of you have a think now. When was the last time we saw an England performance like that in a knockout game? I can't think of one. It was, we were calm, measured. It was professional. I was relaxed. I enjoyed the whole 90 minutes, and what a weird feeling as an England fan. But no, it was absolutely fantastic, and now we have got a very winnable, albeit very difficult, semi-final ahead. So let's get into my player ratings and a look ahead to that Denmark game. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe just before we get started. So yeah, thank you. Right, so yeah, what a night. What a night to be an England fan. It's one of the best nights I've ever had. It's up there with the Colombia penalty shootout win. It's up there, with the Sweden 2-0 win. Certainly for my generation. For those, I just about remember Euro 96. Very briefly, I was very young. But certainly for my generation, this is now the best ever tournament for Euros. Southgate has got us to back-to-back, well, if you really look at it, almost 3 semi-finals now, but certainly back-to-back semi-finals within major tournaments. It's a brilliant achievement. He's the most successful England manager, obviously, since the days of Alf Ramsey. So it's, you can't deny him now. You can't doubt him at all. Sir Southgate, get him knighted. We've got to get through that semi-final though, but I'll come on towards that at the end of the video. But what a night! It was a brilliant performance, wasn't it? From the get-go, taking that 1-0 lead, and we never really looked in doubt. We never really looked in doubt. There's that thing where probably we're probably prone to we're our own enemy, put it that way. The only time any team seems to look like scoring is when we're messing up, and it's a problem, but it's also quite a nice problem to have. We're making every single team that comes up against us look average. We really are. You look at the way Croatia played against Spain. Look at the way Germany played against Portugal. You look at the way our other group opponents played each other. They're a lot different when they've not played us. And I feel like we've made every single team look, attacking wise, very null and void. And in ourselves, we've looked professional, calm. It feels different, doesn't it? And it's going back to the World Cup, that felt different. This feels different. I feel like we've got a much better chance now of getting to the final. Denmark, I'm not going to underestimate Denmark. They are going to be incredibly difficult. They really are. And it's going to be a tough game. We are not through, but it's much more winnable than what that semi-final was in the World Cup. With what a chance we've got. What a chance we've got. In front of 60,000 fans at Wembley now for both games. We'll never have a better chance of winning the Euros. Like I said, this is by far the best Euros of my lifetime. What a difference. Let's all just take a minute to remember where Gareth Southgate picked this England team up from. Going back to that Iceland loss, then Hodgson walking out, and then you've got Allardyce coming in. England could not have been lower. England could not have been lower, really, realistically. We were so sunken. We weren't winning games again. The end of the golden generation, as we used to call it. Obviously, this is by far the golden generation now. And then you had obviously Sam Allardyce come in and all that disaster and mess. And then Southgate picks it up, reluctantly, bearing in mind, he picks it up reluctantly. And what a success story this has been, regardless of the result next Wednesday. Southgate has completely transformed the England national team, and he deserves huge respect for that. But yeah, the game, just quickly going back to the game, from minute one, we were literally, I was there at home in my garage with my projector screen with my mates around and my family, and we're going, cheering. Passes. England are cheering passes in a quarter-final with 10 minutes to go. It was a party from really the first 5 minutes of the second half, and almost, for those that are a bit more relaxed than what I was, it was a party from the first 5 minutes. It wasn't how England do it, and it's going back to the last game against Germany. This isn't how England do things. We don't take 2-0 leads against tough opposition who technically in the past would have lost to, like Germany. We don't get past those games. We don't certainly take 4-0 leads in quarter-finals of major tournaments, and it feels just so different. And I am optimistic now. You've got to look at England and think we are realistically now. This isn't England fans being, over the top optimistic. We really are one of the favourites now. We are one of the top two. I think at the minute, I believe it's between us and Italy. I really do. I think home advantage, you could argue, then gives us the edge. I'm not saying that. I think Italy probably still the team to beat. But England, what an opportunity! We'll never have a better opportunity, never. Now let's get into the team ratings, player ratings, because it was a fantastic night. Again, no one. I think this is the game where literally no one has had a bad game. And you know, I was in the last game talking about how Kane before his goal would probably still have got a 6 from me and stuff like that. But no one in this game, you know, let England down, or well, no one's let England down, but no one had a poor performance. They all stood up, they all stood tall. So starting with Pickford, I've gone for 7.5. I think it was actually his worst game of the tournament, interestingly, because I think there was a couple of times when he came out, particularly with that kick and he sliced it, and there was a few other times where in the past, the hot-headedness of him, you know, he looks fired up, doesn't he? He looks like someone's rubbed his shoulders and sent him into battle. And I feel like this time he was probably getting a bit hot under the collar and making rash choices at times, but he was still brilliant. He was still there and did what he needed to do when called upon. So Pickford for me, still our best player of the tournament. 7.5. I think he did well, but I think he shows signs where he just needs to calm down a little bit, but don't lose that edge, because I think that's what's made him absolutely fantastic. Walker, I think actually this is, people may or may not agree with me, but I'm giving Walker the lowest rating. I'm giving Walker a 7. I just think he did it, didn't he, against Croatia, where there was a few passes where he's just not, his passing seems quite weak. There was the game obviously against Germany where we weren't putting the ball in as well. He just seems to be edgy and lacking a bit of confidence. He's still having good games. He's not letting us down by any means, and he's covering well, and his pace is brilliant, and he's getting back, but he just seems to be the one who I'm looking at who's probably the most likely to make the mistakes, and he's getting picked on actually by all of Ukraine's attack came down that wing last night, and I think a lot of teams are identifying that weirdly the right back area is probably the area for England where we look weakest, and that is probably where I'd like to see maybe Trippier come in for the next game. But I feel like Walker, he did all right. He did all right. 7 is a good thing, but he just looks like maybe the slight weak chink in England's armour, or a vulnerability, should we say, not a weak link. Moving on to Stones, I think he had a solid performance. I've gone for 8. He really is just, he's transformed, hasn't he? He's doing nothing ridiculous, but he's controlling the ball. We're having a lot of the ball at the back, and he's making the right choices. He's not holding on to the balls too long, and he was just measured, calm. At no point am I looking at Stones and being worried at all. And that's the sign of a good centre-back, and he's dealing with everything that comes in. So yeah, 8 for me. Maguire, probably, let's be honest, since Maguire's come back in, you could argue Maguire, for the 2 games he's been there, has been our best one of our best players over the past 2 games. I've gone for 8.5. Obviously his header was fantastic, absolutely brilliant. It's what you expect from Maguire. Basically, you put the ball into that area, and going back to the World Cup, we have got players who can be attacking that, and only in this game have we started now to actually even use the real good abilities we've got from set pieces, because we've not even used that strength yet within this tournament. And now Maguire's back, I feel like we can do so. It's a brilliant header from Maguire, and again, he looks fit, doesn't he? He looks like he's played all season and come back in, so you'd never have thought he was, recovering from injury, but brilliant performance, 8.5. For Luke Shaw, I've gone for, let's be honest, man of the match. I don't know, man of the match, him, maybe a couple in with a shout, but I've gone for Shaw, man of the match. 9 for me from Luke Shaw. I've been a little bit critical over him, particularly leading up into the tournament where he seemed to be a little bit lazy, but I feel like he's just timing those runs perfectly. He's always in that area where he's looking to get beyond the last defender out wide. And let's be honest, when he's been asked to, when he's given the ball in an area where he can put the ball in, including set pieces, he's put it in, and he's put it in on the spot, hasn't he? He's put it in a striker's dream, whether that, strikers, centre backs, whatever, but he's put it right where we want it, and that's all you can ask for him. That is all you can ask for him. He's looking solid at the back as well. He made a brilliant diving header in this game to clear a few balls. He was getting back, tracking back well, so for me, England's player of the match, so I've gone for 9. So moving on to Phillips, I think Phillips again, he's had a really good game, I still think he's looking the stronger out of the 2 holding midfielders. I feel like he's almost becoming undroppable for England now. He's had a really good tournament, fantastic tournament. I've gone for 8. I think he was solid again last night. He's become one of those players that is a nuisance, isn't he, for the other team. He's always getting in the way. He's always there. He's playing the ball well through the lines. He's picking up. He wants the ball. He's full of energy. and he's difficult to play against. So yeah, I think he was the same again last night, and I've gone for an 8. With Rice though, I feel like Rice had a mixed tournament for me. I feel like it was a good game from Rice. I've gone for 7.5, but I just feel like it was a good substitution by Gareth to take him off last night. Once we went 3-0 up, and he's had a bit more rest. He's not done anywhere near the 90 minutes last night. Obviously, going back to the previous game in Germany, he had cramp, didn't he? He's starting to look a little bit tired. He's still having good games though, and obviously he's getting about. The passion's there. He's still, he's not doing anything wrong, but he just looks like he just needs that little bit of rest. So I think it was a good idea, really good. One of the first substitutions from Gareth to get him off. Obviously, he was on the yellow card as well, which obviously influenced that. But 7.5, Rice, yeah, good game. Sancho, mixed game for me from Sancho. I don't think he looked as good as Saka. He hasn't looked as good as Saka when he started, but he still did. He was brilliant, didn't he? He showed moments of magic, moments of brilliance. I think he should have scored. Let's be honest, it would have counted, because I know the flag went up for Shaw's run, but even in real time, I didn't think he was off. But the video evidence showed that he wasn't off, so his goal would have stood. But when he turned, I think he should have picked a corner. I think you expect him to be a little bit calmer, pick his spot there. But he was a threat. He was a driving force for England, and he had a good game overall. So 7.5 I've gone for Sancho. Maybe a little bit harsh, but 7.5. Mason Mount, I think it's a good solid game for Mason Mount. We've probably got to remember the past few days he's had, or week should we say. He's been isolated from the rest of the squad. He's obviously been training alone. He's come straight back in, which obviously it's not a surprise, but it shows the faith that Gareth Southgate's got in him. And he had a good game. He was just, again, a solid performer, not letting you down, picking the right man out. I would like to see him get him involved a little bit more in the game. I think if you swap Mount for Grealish, I think we'd have seen Grealish a lot more involved. But I'm not one of those fans who are calling for Grealish to start. I think Grealish is doing fine coming off the bench. Yeah, Mount, 7.5 for me. Sterling, probably one of, second best performance of the tournament. 8, I've gone for 8 for Sterling. What a ball that was from towards Harry Kane. Brilliant cross. And he's starting now, isn't it? There was a couple of times last night where he did hold the ball up quite well, and that I've been critical of him in the past for not doing that. Picking the right balls, he's making things happen, isn't he? He's still by far probably England's biggest threat. So yeah, 8 for me for Sterling. Harry Kane, best game of the tournament. 8.5. It wasn't just his goals. Yes, he did get his 2 goals, which is brilliant now. Somehow he's level on goal scoring now with Sterling, so he's our joint top goal scorer, which is unusual, isn't it, considering the tournament he's had probably in relation to Sterling. But it was obviously his 2 goals, which he did take very well, but he was much more involved in regular play. He nearly scored one of the goals of the tournament. I think he did give Schick a ring for his money if that one had have flown in. Brilliant. That is the Kane we want to see, just snapshots, picking the right balls out, getting in the box when he's needed. He's not been getting in the box before, and I think it's amazing, isn't it? I think they were talking about it, what the difference one goal can make to energy levels and sharpness, and he just looks that little bit, that extra step quicker, doesn't he, all of a sudden? And it was his best performance of the tournament, so 8.5. I'm not going to cover really the other substitutions apart from Henderson, obviously because of his goal, and he was one of the first ones to come on and had quite a few minutes. I think Rashford, Calvert-Lewin, and all those that came on a little bit later didn't really have enough, and the game was already over, so I don't really want to give them a rating. But certainly for Henderson, it was still 3-0, but he's done plenty in that time, so I've gone for 8 for Henderson. I'm so happy for him that he's got his goal. I mean, that celebration, that is what it's about. I love seeing that. I love seeing it. And the last time I saw someone celebrate like that scoring for England, it reminds me of David Beckham when he knocked that penalty in against Argentina. The passion for playing for your country, for getting that goal. It's fantastic. That is what we want to see, or I want to see anyway. It's brilliant. I'm so chuffed for him. So yeah, I've gone for an 8. So the overall England rating, I mean, you've got to say a 9, haven't you? I know you might look at the opposition and say they weren't up to much, but again, I've said it at the beginning of the video, I'm saying it now. I think we're making teams look not up to much. 4-0 in a quarter-final, you can't go anything less than a 9, really. It's absolutely fun. Brilliant result. Will live in my memory for a long time. I do believe now. I really do believe we can win this tournament. I'm not saying we're not going to. I'm not going to say, no, it's over, we're going to win. But I do honestly believe now we can win. And I think you ask anybody, Scottish, Welsh, anybody, they will say now England's got a chance. Of course they've got a chance. And I do put us as just about favourites. But we've got to get past Denmark, which I'll come on to shortly. But yeah, I just want to finish from the England performance last night is, Again, I've said it in my last videos and I'm saying it again. This squad is just unbelievable. We've brought all these players on at the end, 4-0 up, and we've still not even used Foden and Grealish last night. It's the squad is just so, and it doesn't matter. And I heard someone say, I don't know whether it was on the radio or something, but it really, and this is why I'm not pushing for Grealish to start, it really doesn't matter, does it, at the minute, who starts? It really doesn't. There are obviously standout players and things like that, but the squad is that strong, and the unity is that strong, and they all seem to know what they need to be doing. It's not making a huge amount of difference who's starting, and because the squad is so strong, it means Southgate is easily be able to make changes without having to worry about it. I think Southgate said his biggest problem is actually the three he leaves out of the subs. He's tried to alternate that. I think only Ben White might be the one player who's missed most of the games, but he keeps trying to alternate that, which is fine. But it's by far his most difficult decision. Who are the three players that miss out? But I think England, if they cut out any mistakes, I think Walker's probably one area where we may need to look at, but he does look solid at the back. The fans were brilliant, and that's in, the expats, brilliant that they made that effort to get over to that game. Really well done, England fans. You could hear you all singing throughout that game. It was brilliant to hear. And let's get now on to, because I can't wait, let's get on to this preview of England-Denmark. So looking at this, semi-final against Denmark. The last game actually we played against Denmark, they did beat us 1-0 at Wembley. You can say it probably was a bit of an odd game for those of you that remember. England are favourites, and I'm always conscious of coming across as too confident because I don't want to jinx ourselves. A big that really bothers me. I feel like I'm going to jinx it if I say England to win easy, but I expect England to have enough to get past Denmark at home in front of 60,000 fans. I really do. I think the only danger we've got is that the occasion maybe too much. The England players are going to be so nervous going out into that. It's such a big occasion, but Denmark will be as well. But you've got to put England as favourites in this game. You really have. We should have enough. We should have enough to get past Denmark. We really should. Like the Ukraine game. I don't expect it to be anything like the Ukraine game though. Denmark will give us a lot more of a challenge, a hell of a lot more of a challenge. I think it'll be a lot tighter. I'm going for, do I say another clean sheet? Do we get to the final not conceding a goal? I'm going to be a little bit more pessimistic and say 2-1 England. I feel like, we probably will concede. I just feel like at some point, inevitably, we will. But I cannot believe we've gone all the way this way without conceding a goal. But I'm going to say 2-1 England. We are going to have enough to get past them. I am confident about that, but I am not taking Denmark lightly. What a semi-final. This isn't a walkover for England, so I'm not having all this luck of the draw crap. Denmark are a brilliant team. Germany are a brilliant team. And Ukraine, they've done really well to get there. We've earned this draw. We've beat Croatia, our old nemesis. And England have had a fantastic tournament. Obviously, though, if it ends here, the disappointment will be monumental. It'll be huge, and it'll be another what-if moment. But England now, they've done what they needed to do. I think semi-final, you cannot moan at two back-to-back semi-finals. And even if we do go out, people can't be calling for Southgate's head. I think he's done enough now to even appease the most, anti-Southgate fans. But he's got to, again, we're going on to it, we have got to take this opportunity. It's no good. We have now got to go on and win a trophy. And I cannot believe, as an England fan, I get a bit emotional saying it actually, I cannot believe as an England fan, I realistically, and it's not my England head, this is a real thoughtful process. Genuinely, there is a chance now that England can win a trophy, and that is the most unbelievable feeling ever. And I hope to God, I never thought in my lifetime I'd see England in a final of any major tournament, never mind win it. And I know I feel like I'm getting carried away, but we really have got the chance now. So come on, England, please, I am begging you, please win this trophy. Bring it home. Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next video. Come on, England, I cannot wait. Please all let me know if you've got tickets. I want to put your pictures out. Comment below what you think of my player ratings and team ratings. And yeah, come on, England.